Welcome to Software Testing Academy. So, in today's class, we will learn about what is software testing lifecycle, which is STLC. STLC stands for Software Testing Lifecycle. So, this testing lifecycle, it is a sequence of activities that we carry out to test the software. So I told you we have a lot of activities. It is like a process we follow to test the software. So the first thing is requirement analysis. Your first step is, this is the first phase, requirement analysis. And the second phase is test planning. Test planning. And then comes the test designing, test planning. Third phase is test designing, and then test environment setup, and next is the test execution, and the last step is test completion. So it's a process. So we follow these process to test the software. So now let's look into detail about what is requirement analysis. In the requirement analysis phase, the QA team, that is the testing team, they will interact with various stakeholders like the business analyst or the system architects or the technical persons like the developers to understand the requirements in detail. So you are analyzing the requirement. So they will communicate with the business stakeholders, clients to understand the requirement in detail. And moving to the next phase, which is the test planning. Test planning, it is nothing but planning, like what are the test activities you're going to follow. So this test planning is a document which contains basically the plan for testing your activities. So it contains like the test planning is prepared after analyzing the requirement. This document, it is usually prepared by the senior QA, senior testing lead or the QA. It is prepared by the senior QA lead or the testing lead. So this document tells us what to test, like what are the things we are going to test and what are the tools we are going to use for that particular process. For example, are we using the project management tool like Zira or the defect management tool like Bugzilla or any automation tools we are going to process? Those things will be included in the test planning. So it contains like what to test, then all those things like what are the tools we are using for testing, then what is the test duration, risk and contingencies plan, everything. It is nothing but a plan. What are the, you're just planning like what and all you need to follow when you're going to test. So I hope you're clear with this. Let's move to the next phase, which is the test designing phase. This test designing phase is one of the most important phase in the life cycle. So test designing is one of the most important phase where you write down the test cases. We will write detailed test cases. Once the test cases are written, that will be reviewed by the QA or the senior team lead. So this is one of the most important phase here. So once it is written, it will be reviewed by them. So after that, we'll also prepare test data if something is required. And we also prepare requirement traceability matrix. I will explain you everything in detail, but first we will have a look about what is the phases. So in the test designing, we will write down test cases, test data, and the RTM. RTM means requirement traceability matrix. I will explain these in the upcoming videos. And next is the test environment. Test environment will decide the hardware and the software conditions which we are going to use when you are testing the software. Like what are the environments we are going to use? Hardware and software environment used while testing the application. I hope you are clear with this. So the next phase is test execution, which is executing your application. We give an input and we will try to find the defects and we will put the status like execute your test case. Execute along with the test case, we execute the test case and put the status whether like it is passed or failed. And if it is failed, you write a defect report, bug report. So these are the things we follow there. If the status is pass or fail, if it is not working, if it is fail, then you write a defect report. So there is a defect report template. And a test completion. Once you finish everything, when all the testing activities are completed, we will release the software to the customer. So after releasing the software to the customer, we have a test closure meeting where we will write like test completion meeting. It's like a report. Test progress report. We will write down the detailed report like what went well, what are the challenges we faced, and what are the what we need to improve in the next project, the similar project. Like those all contains in the test completion. So basically, software testing life cycle, it is the process that we follow to test a software. Thank you, and watch the upcoming videos to understand the software testing in detail. Thank you.